When I tell you I have so much whiplash from these past 3 episodes, 3? Yeah. 5, 6, and 7. I am so thrown off by so many people and have so much to discuss about what the heck is going on here. So, my name is Ruth Seneca. I talk about anything casual or monumental in relation to life and life's events. And today I'm talking about Love is Blind Season 5, Episode 5 through 7. That was quick because I just can't, waste any time with this. Okay, there has been a lot of discourse in relation to Uche and Aaliyah, specifically in relation to Uche. I listened to a bunch of podcasts, one of them being, I don't even want to start off with the one that I listened to because it's like his view is problematic, but a lot of people don't know how to feel about Uche and Aaliyah because some people say Uche brings up good points. He's just trying to figure out how secure he can be in this relationship because Aaliyah seems very insecure. Some people are like, in my opinion, I'm kind of Uche is extremely problematic. He likes to have control over people. He does not come to conversations in a level playing field type of a way. He comes to conversations wanting to hold something over somebody's head. He likes to get off on making people feel guilty. In my opinion, he just likes that power. The power dynamic when it comes to Uche and Aaliyah is just so prevalent because it's very much a daddy-daughter relationship dynamic, which I hate. It makes me ill. Makes me ill. I'm gonna talk about everything in relation to these, but specifically, I'm going to talk about the standout moments as opposed to summarizing the whole entire show. But I just wanted to very quickly say Uche and Aaliyah, everyone's talking about that. I kind of just to run through my initial thoughts and then to go deep into them. I want to know, I want you to know what you're getting into with this little video. So yeah, Uche and Aaliyah have been, I'm not team Uche. He makes me ill. It's weird. But for a brief moment in episode 6, I think when they were talking, I was like, Aaliyah's toxic. She's immature. She doesn't really know what she wants. She's putting him through so much more than he should go through. And then for a minute I was like, is Uche level-headed? Is he? And then after all, I'm just no, I'll get into it later. JP and Taylor, awkward. I'm 1010% team Taylor because JP's, that whole situation is weird. He's an awkward weirdo who thinks he's saying oh, Captain America things, but it's just no. If you communicate what you're trying to communicate in the right way, that's respectful of Taylor and her appearance, things would have gone so much better for you, but you're saying them in a way that's really demeaning and disrespectful. Anyway, Lydia and Milton, who knew this would be the most healthy couple out of everybody? Who knew they would be the most physically attracted to each other? Not me at all. What the heck is going on there? And then we have Izzy and Stacy. Is Izzy, or yeah, no. Is Stacy spoiled? Or is she the quote unquote girl boss, financially literate person we want to see in a woman figure? Or is she just a daddy's money spoiled type of a girl? You know what I mean? And then Izzy, he's weird. Everybody's weird is what I'm coming to. The conclusion I'm coming to is just that everybody's weird. Everybody's a little bit sketchy. Everybody in the season, I can't root for one couple. I'm not even really fully rooting for Lydia and Milton because they also weird me out. Lydia in general, just, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Let's get into the notes properly. Alrighty, so we have Uche and Aaliyah. We see that Aaliyah leaves and Uche is rightfully upset. I also have these notes that I'm looking down at because I went to reference everything that stuck out to me. If you see me looking down, Uche leaves. Aaliyah leaves and Uche is rightfully upset. So we see that Uche goes into the pods and is hey baby. Aaliyah just isn't there, and some producers sorry bruh, she left. So in my opinion, that was rightfully upset because it's but what the hell? She's just gone. And Aaliyah left because Lydia was saying some things. And in my opinion, okay, I was initially struck as that's really, like, you at least owe somebody a conversation. You cannot just get up and leave. I found it to be a little bit like, ooh, shoot. You were gonna get engaged to this man. You were telling this man he was like nearly perfect for you. You guys had just worked through something really tough, and leaving is like scary. You know, it's scary. I have trouble saying this though, knowing what I know now. And then I watched Tate's take of The Love Is Blind, his review. He's recapping, and he is so team Aaliyah. He like thinks that Aaliyah did nothing wrong. In my opinion, I still think that she's just emotionally immature. I don't think that she is the type of person that like needs to be in a stable relationship. I think she really needs to work on herself, love herself. No, but for real, I really think that there are a lot of things going on with Aaliyah, because like the level of emotion that she has and the flightiness, I think, is an indicator of something else. Also, I watched Dr. Kirk Konda's recaps, and I'm also really trying to take into perspective his empathy for all of the people, because he's a psychologist. He knows the psychology of people. He really tries to dig deep into why people do the things that they do, and I really want to make that kind of like a mental note of like, let me take into consideration maybe why this person is doing what they're doing, and like let me not just see them as a villain and maybe somebody with like a history that's maybe not so glamorous. You know what I mean? Anyway, Aaliyah, I initially took Aaliyah as immature. It's ridiculous that she left without saying anything, all because like I could understand Lydia getting in her ear made her really upset, and she probably just needed to take herself out and just be like, listen, but your loyalty was supposed to be to, in my opinion, your man, you know. Okay, so Lydia, do I want to go into that? No, yeah. So that was my feeling on that. We'll come back to Aaliyah and Uche, but I wrote down next Lydia and Milton. The Lydia and Milton reveal was crazy. I feel like we not all see it going like Lydia being like, he is not who I take for. He's like a little nerdy. He's like, I don't know, kind of awkward looking, like, you know. But she was like super into it. She was super into it. And for a minute I was like, is it the shock? Because I feel like it's just a shock. You know, like when I was out to dinner with one of my friends back back when I like just graduated high school in my hometown, I saw this girl working as a waitress. Oh my god, I can't speak. I was out to dinner one night. I saw a waitress who I'd known from my high school, and I did not even like her. She was so obnoxious and weird to me. But when she was like serving us, me and my friend at our table, I like went kind of not above and beyond, but I was like, oh my god, hi, it's so good to see you. What are you up to after graduation? Because it's like the shock of seeing somebody can make you say things that you do not genuinely feel. You know what I mean? So I feel like kind of, especially when it comes to these reveals, it's like, are people just kind of riding on the shock of seeing somebody, so they're like, oh, like let's kiss a, you know, like in the first reveal, was it the first? No, that's like the second. In the second season, Deepti and Shake initially were like very physically affectionate, and then of course Shake turned out to be like garbage. Was like, I'm not physically attracted to her, like she's my auntie, like, and then so I'm thinking like, is that what Lydia was thinking about Milton? Because there's just no way, dude. There was no way that they were gonna be like this, but here they are, like this, very physically charged. Which, is it real or is it the shock? You know, JP and Taylor. Okay, big awkward. If I were alone with JP and I was in Taylor's position, I would be convinced he would be killing me in my sleep. No thought needed. No critical thought needed extra to that situation. The heck, I feel so bad for Taylor. And so like we see them kind of interacting, and they're on their little like honeymoon or something. I initially didn't think that the reveal was that bad. A lot of like other podcasters were saying, oh, it's like really horrible. It was like really awkward and weird, but we are rooting for them because they seem like a typical all-American couple. I think that's why I think a lot of people were like, we're rooting for them. It's because like they look like they're gonna work out, you know. but it's very exaggerated. The awkwardness is very exaggerated when we see them in person. Oh my god. That's the problem with Love is Blind is, I know from being a communications major, 70% of our communication is nonverbal. You get to know so much about a person simply by being in their presence than you ever would by stripping everything else away. You know, that's why it's so, well, it's not so rare that the couple stay together. Well, I mean, like, out of the whole entire Love is Blind cast, only like 3 or 4. How many couples have stayed together? Not a lot, but still a decent amount. Have stayed together, but like, granted, they were kind of attractive people. So like, I don't know. But the problem with Love is Blind is that when you go into these conversations, you're looking for things that are like very optimistic about the person that you're talking to, as opposed to critically thinking about what ways are we going to work, what things do we need to work on, how do we handle disagreements, like how am I going to work with your physical energy, versus like, oh, I'm like listening to your words and like kind of playing optimist and like visualizing what our life could be outside of the pods, but it's like you have no idea. I think physical is so important. I could never go on Love is Blind just for that. And I think that JP and Taylor are going to be set a precedent to people that have wanted to go on the show that'll be like, maybe I don't want to go on this show because it's scary. The people you could end up vibing with that you do not vibe with out of the pods. They like seemed like they were just strangers that just got paired up to go on this vacation. It just was like, it's just wild. Okay, so Lydia and Milton will not let go of the age gap jokes, and I get it. It's probably also the shock of just like, my god, you are 6 years younger than me. As somebody who's 24 and married, opinion, why can I not speak? I'm so sorry. Personally, I think that the problem with age gap relationships is just that you're not in the, my mom told me this, is that like, if the power dynamic is off, like if somebody's in a position of power, that's kind of like a red flag there. So it kind of leads to, I don't know, it could lead to things that wouldn't happen in like a normal, like close in age relationship, a non-age gap relationship. Also, like, you're just not in the same place as somebody who's older than you. But I think with Milton, he's the exception because he already like got his associate's degree out of high school, and then like worked a job and is now making a decent amount of money. You know what I mean? So I think like age gap relationships do matter, but in this case, Lydia and Milton seem kind of evenly matched, which I did not think I was gonna say. I really didn't think that was ever gonna come out of my mouth. Anyway, so then all of the couples meet whenever they're on their honeymoon, and it's like the least dramatic, like everybody getting together type thing, because we've seen the past pool parties and we've been like, oh shoot, everybody is meeting and everybody's just admitting the feelings that they had for each other, but no feelings are to be had. Literally the one shocking thing that happened was Izzy being like, so I just want to like tell you, like, this is all the way that I'm gonna reject you, and I like hope you feel bad about it because I'm hot shit, like I just want you sorry for swearing. I'm not editing this, but yeah, basically Izzy tried to like lightly again reject Lydia, and Lydia's like, listen, I'm with somebody who's so much better than you in so many ways. He seems to get off on rejection, and like, I don't know, Izzy does come off as a player, and like, we know that from the Lost and Found that he has later in the couple episodes. Okay, so JP and Taylor are such an ill fit. It makes me wonder, like, what the heck did they have going on in the pods? You know what I mean? And as JP and Taylor like address it, JP says, you know what, I'm not gonna give up. And I just think like, okay, if y'all are so awkward and so ill fit and incompatible, it's not giving up, it's simply just going on the right path that's meant for you. I hate, especially because it just feels like very much a it's not like an old, well, yeah, that is an older view, is a more traditional view, and I feel like it's a view of somebody who's not very in tune with their emotions. And I just kind of feel like his stance, I don't even know his stance about his political stance, but like, he'd just be given Repub. So I just feel like his typical Repub traditional view is that, like, no matter what, you make it work with the person you set your eye on. It's like, there's so much more that goes into that. And, like, you guys are not compatible. So what are you trying to, like, make work for real? It's like, what, not give up. No, the best thing would be to give up. Like, it just grossed me out. And be like, he's like, I'm not gonna give up. Like, I'm working for the, like, I feel like he wants a trophy and saying, like, I'm in it for longevity and I don't think that you are. No, because you're making things weird and you're not being articulate about it, and you're simply just wanting to, like, coast off bad vibes this whole entire time. You're literally coasting off things that are not going to work. Giving up. I hate that. I think that we're too progressed now to even say, like, oh, you gave up on a relationship. No, like, our relationship was not working and I was not forcing it, and longevity does not equal success in a relationship anymore. I feel like we can all recognize that. So, what? Anyway, something that I feel is, I feel like I should be more annoyed by Stacey. She very much gives not the same level as Chelsea, but, like, she's kind of like, she's just like a girl that a lot of people seem to be like they would be annoyed by, and I'm really not, except for the fact that she seems a little bit immature and spoiled. I don't really mind Stacey. I don't have much to say about her. I really don't. Okay, so Lydia and Milton have chemistry, but in my opinion, I don't think that their marriage is gonna last. I think they should have been like a little fling. Like, also the fact that she keeps harping on the idea that he's 24, I think that's really gonna bother her in the future. I feel like this is gonna be one of those things that she just throws out and is like, oh, you're 24, you're 24, you're 24. And he's gonna be like, well, you're old, you're old, you're old. And it's not gonna become a joke anymore. It's gonna be real. Okay, so JP and Taylor fight over the awkwardness. And what is revealed, this is when they're in the hotel room, what is revealed is that JP is uncomfortable with her makeup. Because he's a weirdo. So then they get into a conversation and he's like, well, I just felt like when you were at the reveal, you just had so much makeup. And he keeps harping on this point. You had so much makeup on. You had so much makeup on. I felt like I was not seeing a real person. It just felt like you have a fake face. Like, there was so much makeup on my... He just keeps going on about that. And he ends with saying, not ends, but one of the things that he does say that's like, I feel like people are going to watch this, and men specifically are going to be like, you know what? I stand by what he said. And he said, what's so wrong about me telling you that you look better without makeup? There is not an issue when men prefer women without makeup. There is an issue the way that you communicate that thing, okay? If my husband, and I know that he sometimes does this, my husband sometimes, I don't think, prefers me to have like a full face. My husband will not tell me as disrespectfully as JP did, because JP essentially was talking down to her, being like, you are a fake person, you had a different face, I like you so much better like this, and then instructed her, well, just don't wear makeup. Didn't say, like, this is the way that he should have done it. He should have said, like, after the cameras were gone, even, like, maybe when they were, like, alone in the nighttime, should have been like, listen, I think you're incredibly beautiful. I really appreciate all this effort that you go through to, like, look the best that you can. How do you feel about being more natural? Because as much as I, like, appreciate the effort and see that you want to put everything into your appearance, I honestly have a preference for you to be a little bit more natural, and I really hope that it doesn't offend you. I hope you don't feel controlled in any way, but I just want you to know. And, like, of course, this is me as a woman, from a woman's perspective, like, saying what a man should say, but, like, the fact that he did not say something along those lines and something that came from a place of, like, vulnerability and empathy, the fact that it was from judgment is why it was wrong. And it was not nice. It wasn't nice. So I really don't fault Taylor for wanting to even walk away. I would not have that conversation with him. I'd be like, listen, it's just the way that you're coming off is, like, so disgusting. And I just, like, I'm going to wear my makeup. Are you dumb? Also, she was not wearing, like, and it's just weird because exactly what she says is exactly what happened. She said, well, that's an excuse, at the second day that they saw each other. And it is. And it's also gross that he was like 90% of women would be flattered by that. You're disgusting. 90% of women are going to wear makeup, a full face of makeup on Netflix's most hit TV show, and probably not take the makeup off on the next couple of days while filming. Are you insane? Are you insane? Yeah, that was just weird. I just really don't like that he was trying to flip it on her. And then we find out in the conversation with the friend that the friend is like, oh yeah, no, JP's my Captain America. Like, she just wasn't trying to make it work. No, he was weird, dude. He was weird. He was not communicating with her and makes up this stupid excuse as to why that was. No, you're just weird and you did not make it work with her because you're not a good fit. Because, like, you're so distraught over this one thing that you did not take the time to communicate. It could have been, this problem could have been fixed day one if you had just sat down and you're like, hey, I really, you know? You can say things in a non-offensive way about your preferences. It's just what's wrong with it is the way that it's communicated. As a Black woman, there are so many people who let me know that I'm not their preference. There are so many people. Or that will say like, oh, so-and-so's friend wouldn't like Black women. Like, you're just not, you know? And like, I don't care about whether or not you find me attractive. I care about if you communicate that to me in a disrespectful way. That is like, that's offensive to me. That's literally the only thing that's wrong with it is, how is it being communicated? And that's literally it. So now we're down to 2 people. We're down to Lydia and Milton and Izzy and Stacy, which is like, what? Okay, so Lydia sees Milton's room, and I think that a lot of people are going to be annoyed by Lydia, but I feel like it's like it's a cultural, like, the way that she like communicates, I think is just cultural differences between like the way that like typical, what am I trying to say? That like, I don't know, I feel like people are going to be annoyed by Lydia, but I think she's kind of like endearing, but I can see people being like, she's annoying. I just think it's like a cultural difference, you know what I mean? So Milton's roomie advocating for him, being like, listen, you don't have anything to worry about. The fact that Milton is, although he's 24, he got an associate's degree straight out of high school. Like, that's crazy. Got his master's and is now making 6 figures. Like, that's a grown man right there. That's a grown man. And I think once Lydia heard 6 figures, she was like, oh, I mean, totally. I had no concerns. That would be me. I'd be like, you said 6. Okay, granddaddy, literally. Like, I clearly have nothing to worry about. So, we then go to Stacy and Izzy, and Stacy has an open conversation about money. And I think that's very interesting because a lot of couples need to have these conversations about money. I wish that, me and my husband went through premarital counseling, and I wish that we had done more in-depth talks about money, because money really, there's so much emotion and power attached to money. So I do appreciate her like laying it out. But in my opinion, after watching the next couple episodes, I feel like she has that opinion because money matters to people who are wealthy, and like the perspective isn't coming from I work really hard, so, like the way that people typically are, I work really hard so I want to enjoy, I work hard so I play hard. It's like, no, I have a lot of money so I want to make sure it's handled correctly. That's where I feel like she's coming from, because I feel like her dad has a lot of money, and then like in turn she has a lot of money, whether or not it's like something she like really works for or not. I feel like that's why she brought it up to Izzy, and I at first I was like impressed with her, because I was like, oh, I mean, that's cool that she's like having these transparent talks. It's important, but it's also like rich people would be having those talks because they want to make sure everything is handled, you know? I don't have an anti-rich bias. I just have like a let's be real. Like, let's be real. Like, no, I work hard. I play. Okay. But yeah, so, oh, and then also there's this conversation that was being brought up about like, does a man pay for dinner? I don't think a man has to pay for dinner, but I'm also like a woman who got married young, so you would think that like I would be a traditional, but like no. I work full-time, and while my husband is in school and like he works part-time, so like our money is combined, and I don't really like care about that pressure of having, oh, the man needs to provide for me, I need to be provided for. If you can buy a house, dude, you're good. And then sure, like he can like cover dinners because you bought a house you guys are gonna live in. That's pretty fair to me. But are we in 2023 worried about men having to pay for dinners? Are we? Like, I know that ultimately at the end of the day, every couple just wants to feel taken care of. I think that's it. And for the longest time, women have been the people to take care of people. That's a lie. Men have been the one to take care of women. And so now I think we're in this nuanced space of, do I want a man to take care of me? Do I want it to be equally split? What the heck do I want? Because I've been told this and I want to be taken care of. That's cool. But like also we're evolved, so it doesn't need to happen, you know? Anyway. So when Aaliyah and Uche meet up, Uche, this is so annoying that I wrote down not my opinion on Uche changing to me respecting him, because I think the way that these scenes are filmed is so fascinating, because they could take one person and show them to be like, in my opinion, demanding and controlling, and then in another scene show them to be like, in a way, taking control but not controlling the situation. So it kind of makes me feel like, oh, you're just like voicing your opinion, you're like telling people how hurt you are, and you're like sharing your perspective in a way that makes sense. But it's like, no, it doesn't accommodate the other person though. Aaliyah, I think she's emotionally immature, and the fact that she followed him, unfollowed him, blocked him, and then sent him a voice message and deleted it, that is like high school. That is high school. Also, I'm gonna check to make sure that the charging. Okay, good. It still is. Sorry about that. I'm not editing this, so you just kind of had to like sit there. I'm so sorry. But oh my god, dude. Okay, so Aaliyah, I don't think she's mature. The whole like meal they're having is weird, because you like almost feel for Uche, because you're like, oh my god, Aaliyah walked out on you, oh my god. But from the last episode, it's even changing my view of this scene, because it's like, you really get off on, I don't know, like the misfortune that like happens to you when you like make a case for why you are the one that is like the most hurt, as opposed to like having a normal conversation with somebody and seeking to find out what the heck is going on, you know? Also, it was so funny when Aaliyah made the ultimatum comment. She's like, I mean, you and Lydia knew each other. Like, I don't know why you guys are in Love Is Blind. You should have been on the ultimatum. I'm just like, breaking the fourth wall is scary. Like, it's actually kind of terrifying to me. Like, they're aware of the show. Like, they're in reality TV talking about other reality TV, kind of addressing the fact that like it's just, I don't know, it's kind of scary. And for a minute I was like, okay, why is Leah being like, is it still worth it to try? No, it's not. It's broken. Your guys' bridge broken. There's no connection there. Like, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in a lot of people's takes saying like, no, Uche is just, he comes off as harsh, but he has these like solid, of course he has these solid points. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer who takes his like lawyer stance from work, out of work. He's 24/7 just thinking in a very lawyerly mindset. But he's also not like kind and he has moments he could be kind, I think. I don't know. He's not a very compassionate person in the way that he attacks conversations from a place of like mutual understanding. He attacks conversations from his point of view and how like other people's opinions affect his point of view. And that's really just it. Like, that's the problem with men in general. It's just yeah, one of the podcasts I was listening to was Via Files, and Nick was saying like, there's nothing wrong with